Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to do the first Desmos activity. If you go into week 3 and click on Desmos, what is my transformation, you will find the links. So go ahead and find the period that you're in and the code. Click the link, it'll take you directly to the site. Now there are a few things that I want to go over. Um, Click join when you enter your class code. Please put in your name. And what you're going to do is this is a lesson. Think of this as a lesson that I might give you. Read through the lesson and do what it says to do. So play around with it a little bit. In this first one, you can play around with these dots and you can line them up to the different dotted lines. Now I'm going to skip ahead because I only have 5 minutes for this recording to slide number 7. And these lessons are made so that it gradually teaches you how to do these. Now, let me give you an example on how to move this black line here to the other lines. For example, if I'm going to move it to the red line here, I'm going to start by saying f of x, and I'm going to have to shift it. If you take a look here, it's shifted from here to here, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. Now, in order to move it to the right, I'm going to start with f of x because that's my parent function. But I'm going to have to modify this x in the parentheses. And to move it to the right, I'm going to put a minus because a minus means that we move to the right and x plus means we move to the left. So I'm going to say minus 2. And if you notice that there's another solid red line right here, it's going to move over 2 spaces to the right. Now that's pretty close. I'm not exactly on that dotted line. So let me try by modifying this equation again. And instead of a 2, let me put a 3. And if you see on this example, when I put a minus 3, it's going to line up exactly where I want it. Okay? Now you're going to do that same thing for the other lines. And you're going to try to hit the orange lines, the green line, and the blue line. Okay? And notice that for the green line down here, it's not moving to the left or the right anymore. It's going to move down. So to move down, what you're going to have to do is you're going to say f of x, but instead of subtracting or adding to the x in the parentheses, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract or add to the end of the f of x. And that's how you move down or up. So for example, if I put plus 5, notice how the black line moves up 5 spaces. And I know it's 5 spaces because if I look at one point on the line, and I follow that up, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces up. Okay? Now, we don't want it to move up. We want it to move down. So to modify that, we're going to put a minus outside of the f of x, and this one should shift it down. So for example, if I put a minus 3, it moves down 3 spaces. If I put a minus 2, it moves down 2, minus 1, and then if there's nothing, it's just going to be right where we started. So we're going to put minus something here, and I want you to figure out what goes at the end right here, minus what number, okay? And then for the others, make sure that you modify this x for orange and blue because we're moving to the right and the left. And so if it moves to the right or the left, you're going to modify what's in the parentheses. And if it moves up or down, we do what's outside of the parentheses. Okay, so here's a little thing to help you get started. All right, let's move on to slide number 10. All right, so this is called a parabola. Don't worry about that term. It looks like a hook, kind of, right? Now, the original parabola is the graph of a function called f of x. Instead of dragging the parabola, you can stretch the function by typing 1 in front of the f of x. So we are going to play with this a little bit by putting a number in front of the f of x. For example, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And notice how it gets skinnier and stretches, kind of like if you put like a person through like a Laffy Taffy machine, like they would get skinnier and longer, right? And so putting a number in front is going to stretch that, okay? And so 1 is the same, 2 is even stretchier, 3, 4, 5. Just notice what happens there. All right, let's move on to the second video.